It is the middle of May here in New Hampshire. Well, May is starting to wind down. The temperature today is going to be a whopping 95 degrees once that sun comes out, and Joe and I are going to try to beat the heat. You ready to do some digging, buddy?
Sure am.
We're on a beautiful permission, huh?
Yes, there's a lot of land here. We're definitely not even going to scratch the surface on this property today.
Absolutely not going to scratch the surface on this property, and the great thing is we're welcome to come back whenever we want. So the property that we are on right now, I've been asked not to show the house for privacy reasons. So you guys aren't going to see any buildings or anything like that. I oftentimes like to fly the drone over, give you an aerial shot of what it looks like. I will be doing that today on some of the property, so you'll get a feel for where we're at a little bit. But to respect the landowner and respect their wishes, I'm not going to be showing any of the stuff that they've requested me not to. So the place that we're at today, the house itself was actually built in the 1770s. And back in those days, the road that went from town to town, this actually sat in the middle, and it acted as a boarding house. This is where people would come to stay the night, get some rest, do whatever, and then they'd be on their way the next day. So there is a ton of history here. There's a ton of potential here. And I don't know about you, bud, but I'm ready to dig up some history.
I'm ready to.
So we're gonna get at it. You guys stay tuned, and I'll see you at the first target. So Joe and I have decided to tag team the backyard of this house. Oftentimes, as many of you know, when an older house is still occupied, a lot of modern trash around the main house. So instead of wasting too much time digging through all of that, we're going to get into some areas today that are away from the house in hopes that we can find things, you know, in a little bit quieter of an area. Oftentimes you get into places that are quiet, and the targets that ring up are usually good, usually dating back to the time the land was settled. Not always, still a lot of trash, a lot of canslaw and bullets and things like that, but sticking to tradition, here is my first target of the day. Just a bullet, old bullet, not too old probably, smashed, and they read up good on the metal detector, and when you're in a new spot, you gotta investigate those tones at least for a little bit. So probably dig a bunch of these today. If there's already a bullet here, there's probably more bullets scattered around. Old land and typical New England trash right here. Well, at least it's not the copper curse that we sometimes start off with. It's probably not a bad thing that it wasn't anything great. So I'm gonna put the bullet away in the trash. I'm gonna close up the plug, and I'm gonna be on my way. I'll see you guys at the next target. Well, I don't know if you guys can tell, but today my allergies are starting to act up. It's that time of year, so if it sounds like I have a cold or something like that, that's what it is. I'm all stuffy. But anyway, behind me, over there in that corner, is where you saw me pull up that first target, which was just a bullet. And just hit a nice tone. It was a high tone mixed with a little bit of a mid-tone. Dug down, flopped the plug open, and I see this sticking out. Right there. You can see where I moved the pinpointer across. Pretty sure that's a lock. Now, I'm not sure how old of a lock it is, but yeah, not too old. See if there's any markings on it anywhere. Just a padlock. So this is going to be going in with the hopeful relics of today. This is the first thing that I found, obviously. Perhaps we can fill the box right up today with some cool stuff, but not a bad first real find of the day. And we're going to be showing the landowner everything at the end of the day anyway, so I want to make sure maybe this is something they lost, or it could be older than that. I'm not really familiar with these locks anyway, so regardless, cool find for today, and hopefully one of many more. Too bad that pool wasn't ready for today, buddy.
Yeah,
it's gonna be hot.
That'd be nice.
What'd you just pull up?
It's like a jackknife. Doesn't look too old.
Yep, blade right out and it's broken. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
A little bit of a slow start to the day, but I'm sure we'll get on some stuff. It's an old place.
For sure.
Well, the finds are getting older. Got myself a wheat cent, and I believe it is, I think you guys can see that, I think it's 1941, so we're heading in the right direction. Let's see if we can break into the 1800s here soon. Hey buddy, you're probably going to want to come back to the side yard.
Oh yeah?
I just dug up a silver coin and it's small.
No.
Promise you. Here's the scene, buddy. It was, let me take these off. It was right at the bottom of there, or actually it popped up in the plug right here. And let's see if I can get it to focus. I don't even know what it is yet. Oh, come on, focus. Right there. It's a silver coin. You want to wipe it off?
That's a seeded.
You think it's a seeded? I think it's a seeded too.
Definitely.
Let's see.
It's really small.
Just go lightly, I'll spray it after.
Yeah.
Or at least see the date. Oh, it's a Barber.
It is a Barber.
It's a friggin' Barber dime.
1900.
1900 Barber dime?
Nice. Yep.
Look at that coin, man. Yeah, that was deep. I don't think there's any mint mark on it. I don't see the mint mark.
Take it.
Silver, buddy.
Beautiful. Good job.
First silver of the day. So, like I said, after that wheat cent, we're going to keep getting older. I didn't break the 1800s yet, but hi, buddy. Someone wanted to come over and say hello and see the silver. I'm excited. That's the way to get the day going right there.
I have a golden retriever.
So the morning is not going too bad. Definitely a good start to the day. It's not really too hot out yet. It is going to start getting warm. I can start feeling the humidity going up. So I'm actually going to take a break. Joe's over there visiting with the landowner right now, talking some of the history of the place. And when we get back, I'm going to work through the front end of the section of the house here. Right off the front of the house, the landowner just told me that they used to have a porch that used to actually come out to the road that you see behind me. And who knows what was dropped along the way. So that silver is definitely a good indication of what could be found here today. So I'm gonna get some water. I'll be right back at it soon and see what else the day has to offer us. I know I just told you guys that we were going to be hanging tight next to the house where the old porch used to be, but they have an invisible dog fence and it's just making our metal detectors go absolutely ballistic. So we decided to come across the street. So the house is actually behind this tree just off camera there. We've worked away over the road here and into this section of the land. They own 67 acres, so plenty of land to search, plenty of land to go back to, and as you can tell, the sun has come out and it's starting to get very warm very fast. So right where these trees are is an old barn foundation. I did come here probably a couple of years ago now, and I came through here just as a quick reconnaissance mission just to see what was out here and whatnot. I found an old colonial shoe buckle. It was a Chapin tongue. Didn't find the buckle frame itself, but Joe and I have decided to come out here. Obviously we're racing the heat today, and that's why he's staying in the shade here. We're going to work our way through here. We are going to go up to this section over that way. There's a pond on the other side there, but instead of being up near the house where the dog fence was, we're going to spend probably the rest of the day into the afternoon hours out in this section, hopefully getting on some older stuff, maybe skipping the 1800s and getting right into the 1700s, hopefully. So yeah, I'll put the camera away and I'll see you at the first target out here. So I am working right down the edge of the old barn site where that tree is on the last corner there, the big shadow underneath it. The barn site was to the right of that. I've been working through here and I just got that's bouncing into the low 30s. It's in the high 20s. So I'll set the camera up and let's go in together. Find that target again. Pinpoint it right about there. It's a scratchy high tone, so I'll go a little bit wide. This is in the area that I found the chafing tongue. Like I said, I came back here when I first got permission a couple years ago, before the world went crazy. I did come through here and I found a couple of things. Small. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. It's another silver. Yep. It's another silver.
Nice.
Right there. Yeah, I'm gonna switch cameras so I'll get a better close-up for you guys. I'm gonna leave it right there as it is. Joe's gonna come over and let's find out what that is together. So, all right, I switched cameras because the GoPro doesn't really have a good focus and I don't really know what it is, but there it is right there. It was deep too. It popped out of that. Oh, we got some water. That is...
That could be a trine. That's...
It's Spanish, buddy.
Is it Spanish?
Yep. There are the two pillars right there. 17... Where did it go? I just saw the date. 1749.
Wow. That's
a half real. Let me get some water on that. Look how beautiful that silver coin is. And look how thin these reals are. And of course, back in the colonial period, you know, we didn't have American currency. We relied heavily on foreign currency for trade and buying whatever goods they needed for the land. But this definitely dates back to, well, it predates the house. They said the house was built, what, in the 1770s?
Yep.
So that predates the house right there. What a find that is. Let me get some water on this, and I'll show you guys what it looks like all field cleaned.
That's what I was doing on the road.
There it is in all of its glory. And it's not even holed. Usually you find these holed or really worn down thin, and you can barely make out what they are. But that is old silver right there.
Yeah, it's been a couple years since I've found Spanish.
Yep. Well, that's a good sign that there's these old silvers.
Another one.
I would be okay with you finding one too. So
Look right
we'll
here. There's a really big apple tree.
Apple trees and fields, and we have so much land to cover that it's absolutely incredible. But there it is, and what a beautiful old colonial coin that is. I could very well be jinxing myself right now. I've held tight to the tree line because when I first went down, I think you can see my path right there, but I've held tight to the tree line. I've come up straight through here, and that may or may not be trash. It probably is. I'm probably not gonna have lightning strike twice here, but I'm gonna set the camera up and let's go into this one together. It worked the last time. Let's see what happens now. Let's find the target again. I hope that GoPro isn't messing with my detector. Let me see. Okay, so it's up there. Let me just scoot you guys forward a little bit here. pinpoint it there. See what we got. I'm gonna go wide again because, man, if I hit a 3 silver day, the last thing I want to do is hit it with a shovel. Let me get the pinpointer out. Oh no. Well, how's that for being authentic? Unfortunately, this stuff reads the same way. You got to dig it because, as you've seen, I mean, if I came down this way and I hit this first and then I hit that, I would have done the same thing. I would have stopped, still dug it, and you can see sometimes it's treasure, many times it's trash. Okay, so I'm going very slow, obviously, because of the shade. Secondly, the silver. I just pulled something out of the ground. Some of you might not get too excited about it. I'm over the moon about it. It is something that I'm probably going to fix up. I'm probably going to rehang, and it's probably, more than likely, going to be displayed at my house for many years to come. Look at that thing. How freaking cool is that? The old, I would assume, and again, I'm not an expert in any of this. This is all based on things that I've picked up along the way, stories I've read, things I've seen posted, information that's out there. I believe this was for wood crafting. You know, small little cuts and whatnot while they were making beams and all of that stuff. I might be completely wrong, but I can tell you right now, this is old. It's very cool, and that should clean up and look beautiful on a nice handle, oak, cherry, something stained, whatever. But how cool is that? That I get excited for that old silver, any coin, any relic. But things like this really get my heart going because that thing is absolutely unique. And oh man, I'm so glad I saved something like this from the ground. That will definitely be preserved. And maybe, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I'll do a video later down the road on the preservation process of this and the rehanging. But not exactly sure of the names of these things. That's looks like it was there on purpose. I will do some more research, obviously put some info in this video if I know exactly what this is and what it was used for. But how cool is that? I know I found those coins, but finding things like this, that definitely makes my day. So I'm going to take another water break. I'm going to get right back to it, and the day is definitely going to wind down here soon. It is probably 92 degrees, and out in that sun is absolutely blistering. We went from winter to summer just like that, and now we're paying the price in the sun. So I'm still not complaining. It's been a great day. I'll check in with Joe before we get out of here and see what he has over there. But for right now, I'm doing very well. I'm very happy with how the day's production has gone, and can't wait to show the landowner all the stuff we're finding. Well, I'm drinking down some water, Joey. I know you got a couple of finds, nothing like coins, but what do you have?
Piece of horse tack. Looks like I hold horse tack, a buckle.
Oh yeah, the old harness buckles. And hey, my old friend, the old oxen shoe. That was a baby oxen,
yeah,
huh?
Small.
And of course, you guys, just so you know, I'm sure some of you are aware, there'd actually be two. They have, what are they called, cloved hooves or something like that. There'd be one of these on one side and one on the other. And of course, they'd go like that for the traction. But there's old stuff out here, buddy. So obviously, with the coins and with that stuff, people were out here back in the day. And now we just got to get you on some old silver.
Yeah, and he keeps swinging and we'll get into it.
Keep swinging and sweating, buddy.
Yeah.
We'll get it. The day's cooking away in the sun here, but the relics are still popping out of the ground. Not the shiny silver kind, but the old kind. You guys have seen me dig stuff like this in the past. Probably an old oil lamp. And as you've heard us say before, that one actually might, maybe I can actually show you right now. I'm not going to really be able to see too well with that sun blaring down, but you can get the patent date and everything on there, maybe the manufacturer's mark and whatnot, and you could actually research this, find out where it came from, how old it was, and possibly when it was being used here. Very cool relics. They still tell a story of the land, and this one's no different than any other. A lot of history behind it, and before flashlights and all of that stuff, this is what they used to get around at night. How's that sun treating you?
It's hot. You know, New England's supposed to be 4 seasons, and it seems like all we have is 2. Winter and summer.
Yeah, absolutely brutal right now.
43 degrees the other night, and here we are supposed to get upper 90s.
It was snowing up north. Yeah. We get all that kind of weather up here. How are you doing so far since I've last seen you?
I'm doing all right. I had a really good tone in this field.
Yep.
Thought I had a coin for sure, and pulled out a Hot Wheel.
Do you have the Hot Wheel?
Yeah.
Is it buried?
Whatever that's doing out in this field, I do not know.
These Garrett Finds boxes come in handy.
Yellow 444.
Look at that.
It's an older one.
It's a taxi.
Yeah, that's what I think it is a taxi. Chevy Impala.
No kidding. Hot Wheels?
Yeah. It says 1769. No, that's not the date. That must be the number, like number made or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't know that I have enough water to keep going through the way I'm going through it today.
Yeah, it's hot.
Definitely have to stay hydrated. My skin's starting to feel like it's burning. I know that I have sunblock on, but
yeah.
How about, are you going to stick around in here a little bit, or are you going to go back up to the yard?
I'm going to go back up to the yard and try.
Yeah.
And then if I go out this afternoon, I'll probably find some woods.
Yeah, nice shady woods with a bunch of black flies and mosquitoes. Yeah. I'll meet you out front, and we'll call it a day from there.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy. So I just left Joe. He made his way up to the yard, and I'm going to work my way around, like I said. And I got right on a decent target. It was deep, very deep, and high tone. So I dug, and it's actually putting together. So the landowner came out a little while ago, and she was telling us that the road that goes by their house right now wasn't always there. It wasn't always like that. It actually was down further, down where we're at, and actually wraps around where I came through and I found that half real. I mean, I'm not really finding too much to indicate that there was a lot of travel through here, you know, a lot of horse tack. I know Joe got a couple of things, but this relic in itself could put all that together, at least for me, in my mind. And well, I'll let you guys check it out and let you be the judge. So like I said, it was deep, and that soil is just, there's so much moisture in that soil. It's unbelievable. Good growing soil. But yeah, right out of there, just popped that thing. And I know a lot of people out there, they call them buggy brakes. It's actually a buggy shaft tip that would go on the end. You know, there'd be 2 points out like this, 2 shafts that would, the horse would sit basically in the middle and pull the buggy, just like, you know, the way my hand is shaped right now, you know, the horse in the front and the buggy in the back. These would actually go on the end of those shaft tips. So when they weren't, or when they weren't attached to the horses or whatnot and they were resting, oftentimes you'll see they have flat spots right here. But you can definitely tell that this is one that hadn't been on there very long. It hadn't been used because there's no flat spots like that. And somewhere on here, there was a, I saw it somewhere when I first pulled it out of the ground. There's a hole where the pin would go. It's all filled in with dirt right now. It's right there. So there's actually some wood still in it. How it broke, I have no idea, but perhaps this right here was a corridor for travel at one point before the road was where it's at now. Very cool history, and everything we find tells a story. Well, that's gonna do it for us, Joe. We have been invited back to come back to this land all around. We just scratched the surface, so well, I'm glad you joined me today, Joey. Thanks for coming out, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a great day nonetheless, and you know, sometimes you don't find everything, but it's always about being out there and enjoying time with friends. So thank you for coming out, and I appreciate you guys for watching. As always, stay safe out there, and until next time, happy hunting.